Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is FAR 270 Intangible Assets video number 3.
Yeah, yeah, yay! Yeah, yeah, yay!
So in this video, we will continue with development, the expenditure that you can actually capitalize as your intangible asset. Probably you have heard of development before. Most of the time it is called as research and development, or in short form it is R&D. So to explain this, it's best if we look at one timeline. This timeline is for 12 months, and this is for a certain R&D project. So we will divide it into two. One part is 4 months, and the other part is 8 months. 4 plus 8 equals to 12 months. So the first 4 months, the red part, is research, and the next 8 months is the development part. Research phase is probably when you are planning to do something, you are looking at information available, collecting data, and then the development part, you start to develop the product. Okay, so let's first focus on research. All research expenses shall be expense of, which means that anything, if you incur costs doing information gathering, doing some data collection, doing some study on some potential investment, it shall be expense of. The next one is development. In development, we need to divide it further into two parts. Okay, one is 3 months, the other one is 5 months. This is just an example. It can be 4 months to 4 months, it can be 6 months to 2 months. I'm giving you an example: 3 months and 5 months. The first 3 months and the next 5 months is both for development, but the first 3 months is you are not actually sure will this project be a success, or will it fail, or you cannot find certain things that can ensure you that this project can be completed. Okay, as a result, any cost incurred shall be expense of. Okay, whereas the next 5 months is the period where you are confident and you are sure that you can complete the project. Okay, in this phase, you have done enough research, you have developed the product at a certain condition where you are very confident that this project will be completed and we can sell the product. Okay, so starting from this point, you can start capitalize the cost. It shall be considered as your intangible asset. So expense of simply means it goes to your statement of profit and loss as your expenses. Where capitalized, it will be considered as your intangible asset in the statement of financial position under non-current assets. Okay, so we divide it into three phases, two main phases: research and development. Development further, we divide into two phases. One is when you are not so sure, and the next one is when you are confident that it can be completed. Okay, so let's focus more on the development part. Okay, what is the difference between being sure and not so sure? So MFRS 138 says that intangible assets arising from development shall be recognized if and only if an entity can demonstrate six criteria. Okay, so the difference between being sure and not sure depends on these six criteria. Okay, let's look at one by one. Number one, technical feasibility of completing the intangible asset. So you have the technical feasibility. It can be completed. Number two, you have the intention completed and to use or sell it. So once you completed it, it can be used and sell. Okay, so the second one, the intention to complete and with the intention to use or sell it. And it also must meet the recognition that it is able to be used or to be sold. Okay, the third one, it will generate probable future economic benefit. If you use it, it helps you to probably reduce costs or improve your profit. And if you sell it, you get some profit from the sale of intangible asset. And you have the resources, technical and financial. You have the money and you have the staff, you have the knowledge to complete the project. And also you can measure reliably the expenses. So the six criteria must be met for you to move from being not sure to sure. Then only you can recognize that as your intangible assets. So development once meet the six criteria will be considered as will be recorded under MFRS 138 intangible asset. So we have completed intangible assets, the recognition criteria, and also the initial measurement. So next we will look at subsequent measurement. Okay, the first time you give the asset a value is called initial measurement. The point you buy it, the point you exchange it, and when comes the year end, you need to revalue it again. Okay, so MFRS 138 allows you to use either cost model or revaluation model. I would like to focus more on the useful life of this intangible asset. Basically, there are two types. One is finite and the other one is indefinite. Finite means that the intangible asset has a useful life, or you can say it has an expiry date, which means that at one point of time, at some point of time in the future, the asset will no longer gives benefit to the company. The other one is indefinite. Indefinite is when we cannot predict when the intangible asset will no longer be useful to the company. So one is with an expiry and the other one without an expiry date. Let's focus on finite first. So intangible asset with a finite useful life shall be amortized on a systematic basis over its useful life. Let's look at one example. Let's say the value of intangible asset is 1 million. So the useful life is 5 years. So the amortization per year will be 200,000 ringgit. Okay, this is just a simple example. It can be a pattern when the useful life is like 10 years, and then after the 10th year, other companies will also be able to produce the same thing, or the customer list. You have like 1,000 list of customers, and then you predict you will use it up after 5 years, so it has a useful life for 5 years. Or maybe a prototype where you can get advantage from the information from the prototype for, let's say, 2 years. After 2 years it will be obsolete because new technology will come out, so it has a useful life. So when it is finite, you just divide with the number of years it will be useful to the company. Let's look at indefinite. Indefinite, for example, logos. McDonald's, I've seen that since I was a kid, and also Nando's. It's been like that since I was a kid, so it belongs to the company. And we cannot say when McDonald's will change the logo or Nando's will change the logo. Seems like they will be using it for many years to come, and it's theirs. So we will consider that as indefinite useful life. For indefinite useful life, you cannot amortize because there's no basis to divide it with. So what we do is we do impairment tests annually. Impairment tests annually, and also whenever there is an indication of impairment. Okay, impairment is the you reduce the value from your accounts. Okay, so that's all. So again, I would like to remind you, please read. So read. Do a lot of reading, and I'll see you in the next video. So that's the end of intangible asset. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.